welcome to the stage a developer at Shopify, Jessica Warren.
All right. Hi, everyone. So I'm Jess. I'm a developer on the pricing team from Montreal. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you guys about discounts and some of the new features and improvements that the team has been working on. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about how discounts have been doing. So since January 2019, 56% of discounts created were actually done using apps. So this is huge since the majority of our discounts are being created through apps. And next, since June 1st, 2018, $15.1 billion USD has been generated in gross merchandise volume from orders that have a discount linked. So GMV is the total dollar value of orders processed through our platform. 51% of active shops have created a discount since June 1st, 2018. This is interesting when we compare this number to large shops. So 87% of active large shops have created discount over the same time period. So larger, more successful merchants are disproportionately using discounts in their shops. Since June 1st, 2018, 171 million orders have been created that contain a discount. So we also looked at the year-over-year performance of discounts being created from apps from mid-2017 to mid-2019, and we found that the proportion increased 105%. Merchants are relying more and more heavily on apps for their discount needs. We want to keep making these numbers better, and pricing is working hard on this. So one of the team's main focuses this year has been improving our APIs and our GraphQL offerings. So to recall some of the presentations that you saw earlier in the conference, like Vanessa's talk, GraphQL has a lot of benefits. Like everything is available from a single endpoint. You don't need to do multiple queries in order to get multiple resource types that might be linked to a discount, so like customers or products. Everything is typed and it's part of a schema, so that solves documentation issues as well as overfetching data. So sometimes you don't want to have to get everything that has to do with a discount. So some of you may be asking why we're introducing a new discounts API when we already have Price Rules API. Well, we introduced Price Rules API in 2018 at Unite last year. It was our first GraphQL implementation of our legacy REST API, and we very closely mimicked the structure of that API. But we heard your feedback. Some of the problems that were mentioned with this API was that it takes 2 calls to create a discount. One to create the discount itself, and then one to link a discount code to it. Other issues that were mentioned were that it's difficult to use or understand, and it can be prone to errors and misconfigurations. So here's an example of what a BXGUI discount would look like on the old Price Rules API. So this is why we're introducing our new Discounts GraphQL API. There are 2 main parts to it. There's code discounts, and then there's automatic discounts. And some key elements to remember about this API is that it contains a fully revamped business logic, as well as it introduces a brand new discount type, automatic discounts. Automatic discounts are fully tested internally on web and on mobile. So even though there were some problems we had with Price Rules API, we did get a lot of positive feedback from you about using GraphQL in general. So some of the things that partners had mentioned to us were being able to retrieve specific fields when you don't care about anything else, being able to traverse different resource types, not being restricted to just one, as well as better defined types that are mostly self-documenting. So let's take a little bit closer look at the differences between these APIs. So here's that example again of BXGUI discount query. As you can see, the naming is pretty complex, and it exposes a lot of implementation details. So someone without Shopify context, it can be pretty hard to use or understand. And there's potentially a lot of attributes where it's unclear how they work together and how you can make a valid discount. And here is an example of a BXGUI discount query on the new Discounts API. So this API is much more verbose than Price Rules API. The logic was thoughtfully constructed to reduce the chances for mistakes due to misconfiguration. So Discounts API favors a much more hierarchical approach to managing data so that it's simpler for you to use. So some things I want to highlight about the new logic is that discount types are fully typed. You don't need to do any more complicated if statements just to see if a field exists or to see what values in a field just to figure out what type of discount you're dealing with. There's our complex attributes or our bundles of attributes are also fully typed. So sometimes attributes only make sense when they're defined together or if they're in the context of another object. So that for that reason they can be typed. For example, in this query, talking about products only makes sense when you're talking about the items that a customer has to buy. And finally, our value names are actually meaningful compared to Price Rules API. I don't know if you noticed on maybe my original example, there were some fields that were called item prerequisites or prerequisite to entitlement quantity ratio. Now that's just customer buys. So it uses everyday language to describe what's actually happening. So here we see that a customer has to buy a certain value of items in order to qualify for a discount. So after looking at the differences between these APIs, I want to talk a little bit more about automatic discounts. So these are discounts that are applied automatically when certain conditions in the cart are met. No more codes required. This API allows for the viewing, creating, updating, and deleting of automatic discounts. So Automatic BXGY was launched in October of 2018, and Automatic Basic, which are fixed amount and percentage discounts, was launched at the beginning of May this year. Importantly, automatic discounts are only available on GraphQL. So I want to go over a little bit of the impact that automatic discounts has had recently on our merchants. So since January 2019, 50% of all BXGY discounts are now automatic. So this shows a huge merchant interest in automatic as a type. Automatic Basic was launched on May 6th this year, and already after about a month, it's 48% of the GMV that's been generated with automatic. Automatic also now represents 3% of all discounts that have been created since Basic Discount was launched at the beginning of this month. And for new merchants, 8.3% of discounts created in the last month are automatic. So the adoption rate for automatic discounts among new merchants is 3 times higher. And there's something else new with automatic that's actually super exciting. Automatic discounts are visible on cart. So now buyers can see a discount applied one step earlier in their buyer journey. This is crucial for buyer conversion, since the sooner that a buyer is able to see a discount, the higher the chances they're going to buy something. So I briefly showed you an example before, but I want to walk you through a little bit more, like some mutations and queries for automatic discount. So here's an example of a query for Automatic Basic. Here I'm limiting my query to the first 10 automatic discounts. And here's where I define that I only want to retrieve the Automatic Basic type. And in this query, I want to fetch my minimum requirements. And my minimum requirements object can have 2 different types, a subtotal or a quantity. I'm only going to get back data that exists, so I'm going to get only one of these objects back, which makes it much easier to handle. And finally, I have the main fields that I want to retrieve here. Next, I have a create mutation for a fixed amount discount. I've defined my simple fields here, my start date and my title. Next, I define the minimum requirements needed to qualify for this discount. In this case, I require at least one of the defined products to be bought. Next, in customer gets, which outlines what the customer actually gets with the discount, I've defined the items that I want the discount to apply to. In this case, I want it to apply to all items in the shop. Next, I define my value of my discount. I want it to be an amount. Here I've set it to 15. And I make sure it doesn't apply to each item that's been added in my cart. So now I've just created a discount where the customer gets $15 off their entire order. Next, I want to talk about an update mutation. So here I've chosen a percentage discount. Of course, I need to define which discount I want to update, so I pass in the ID here. I define the new title that I want. And I also want to associate my discount value to a specific product. I do that by passing in the product IDs to my products object, and my products object is defined in the items that my customer gets. So now my percentage value is only going to be applied to this product. So that's what I wanted to cover with Automatic. Let's take a quick look at code discounts. So the new code discounts are a complete replacement for Price Rules API and discount code APIs. As I mentioned before, creating a discount required 2 API calls, one to create the discount and then one to link a code to it. So now you can create a discount with a code in a single mutation using the same business logic we just saw with Automatic. So free shipping isn't available in Automatic yet, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to take a look at it here. So here I have a create mutation for a free shipping discount. I filled out my fields here. Notably, there is a code field, and that can be different from title. Unique to free shipping is the concept of a destination. So here I've defined that I only want specific countries to be able to qualify for this discount. In my case, I chose Canada, and I've used the country code to determine that. Finally, codes still do have a concept of customer-specific discounts. Here I've specified that I only want the customers that can be found with a specific saved search to qualify. So in the end, I've created a discount, a free shipping discount for a specific group of Canadian buyers. So now we've done a pretty thorough look at the technical side of the API. I want to talk a little bit how I think you can leverage it. So some new opportunities that are made available with Automatic discounts is that it provides merchants with a much more shop or a product-focused discount instead of a buyer-focused one. So discount codes are buyer-focused in the sense that they're the ones that receive the discount code, they track it, they're the ones that put it in manually on checkout, or they forget to put it in on checkout. So it leads to a much more holistic shop experience using Automatic discounts because buyers don't have to do anything at all. They just get the discount. Another opportunity available with Automatic discounts is possibly like moving inventory. So for things that maybe merchants want to sell, like old items, when they have too many items, they want to promote a new item. You don't have to worry about a customer not putting in their discount code because it's going to be done automatically. Upselling has even more potential with Automatic as well. So imagine you know that there's an Automatic discount that applies to the whole shop. You can just show a message on the storefront, or you know that a customer put something in their cart, but you know that there's a bundle or another discount that applies with a different item. You can prompt them to say, hey, there's a discount here. You don't have to do anything, just add this item. So we're excited to see the new stuff that you guys can come up with. And you can start working on it as soon as next month. So we're planning on having a stable release in July. But actually, if you want a sneak peek at it, we have an unstable version available for you guys to take a look at today. So we have a Discounts GraphQL API guide available for you if you want to get started with discounts specifically. You can also head to the Shopify help page to get more information on our API and schema. And if you have any questions, I'm going to be at the developer drop-in from 12:30 to 2:30, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.